coming up on Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen.
If you're going to have intimacy in your relationship with your wife, she has to know that she can trust you financially.
When you come down and get to skills right, of just the money language, learning each other, learning to respect, I mean, money can be such a blessing in a relationship.
One of the major benefits of marriage is shared wealth. Statistically, married people are better off financially than those who are non-married.
Money can also be one of the most divisive issues in a relationship. This is especially true when we have different perspectives on how to spend it.
Money can be a blessing and a basis of intimacy in marriage, but for that to happen, we need to gain a mutual understanding of how to relate to it as a couple. You cannot have intimacy without trust. Intimacy means an inner closeness. It means I'm going to let you in to the Holy of Holies. I'm going to open my heart of hearts, and you're going to see a part of me that no one's ever seen. You're going to hear things from me that no one's ever heard, and I'm going to allow you into the inner sanctum. And let me just say, no one goes in there unless they pass the trust test. And money is a massive issue as it relates to the issue of trust. And let me talk about women. I'm talking about women and men, but let me begin with women. The number one need of a woman, in my belief, is security. Women are very security oriented, and money is a very important part of a woman's need for security. I believe it's the reason many women hide money from their husbands or have a secret stash or something like that. I'm hoping that Karen's hiding $1 million, and I'm going to find it one of these days, but it's because of this security issue. But another need that women have is leadership. Every woman wants her husband to be a leader, not to dominate her, but to initiate the well-being of the home romantically, spiritually, with the children, and with money. Every woman wants her husband to be the money leader of the home, with her being an equal partner. And so her security is derived by knowing that her husband is tuned in and her husband is being responsible in that area. But let me talk about another issue that is a massive issue that many times we don't discuss, but I want to discuss it because it is at the heart of a lot of the problems that we're experiencing in America, and that is this. Women are better when they're domestically centered. Women are happier when they're domestically centered. And domestically centered doesn't mean that they don't work. It means that they're able to turn their hearts toward their home and to focus at home. And so that's what women want, and the world is better off when women are able to be domestically centered. Whether they're a full-time mom or whether they're working but their heart is at home. But here's every woman's fear, married woman's fear. If I sacrifice to become domestically centered and turn my heart toward home, in other words, by sacrificing, it means I've sacrificed a career, I'm now going to become more financially dependent upon you or totally financially dependent upon you, and you're going to take advantage of it. Once I become domestically centered and once you become the chief breadwinner, then you're going to use that as an advantage over me, and if we split up at some point in time, I'm going to be financially devastated, and women aren't. When men and women divorce, men are affected financially, women are devastated financially. Statistically, women are much worse off. And so the conversation that is had in most homes in America today with daughters is this conversation. When they're high school, college age, parents sit them down and say, you can't trust a man, get an education. You go and you learn to have an employable skill and you start a career before you have a family because you don't want to become dependent upon a man. And you always keep an oar in the water just in case he drowns. Just in case he deserts you. You be sure that you don't become dependent upon a man. Let me tell you the conversation that ought to be taking place in America with sons. And that is, every parent ought to sit their high school, college son down and say, you be faithful to your wife. And if your wife chooses to be a stay-at-home mom and to be domestically centered and she becomes dependent upon you financially, you don't ever take advantage of that. You don't ever use that over her head. And you, till the day you die, you be faithful to that woman. And what's happening is women can't trust men. and especially in the area of finances. They're on guard all the time. We know of many personal examples of people that we've known around us. One very recently of a woman who had 4 children, wonderful mother, wonderful wife. Her husband was the breadwinner in the family. She was the domestically centered. She stayed home, took care of him, took care of their kids. They recently divorced. She lost everything. He gave her as little as he could possibly give her. She had to take him to court to get everything that she got. But now she's over here. He's still making the same kind of an income which he was before, which is a significant income. And because their children are grown, she got very little out of the divorce settlement. And so she now is devastated. More and more women are in that situation, and what's happening is the marriage rate is dropping in America to the lowest point in American history, but the birth rate is dropping in America. Did you know in America right now we're barely replacing ourselves? And many nations around the world are not replacing themselves. They're in a place of depopulation. But did you know the more secure women are, the more babies they have? The more secure women are, the more babies they want to have. But the insecurity in America today is the character of men. We have got to be the kind of men that never take advantage of the vulnerabilities of our wives. Women have had to fight for the right to vote. They've had to fight for the right for equal pay. They've had to fight for everything they've got, and that's wrong. We should have given it to them on a silver platter. We should nourish them and cherish them and never take advantage of them. And let me just say this, if you're going to have intimacy in your relationship with your wife, she has to know that she can trust you financially. She has to know that you're going to be a faithful provider and that you're going to be a faithful leader and that you will never, ever, ever, ever use any superiority you have over her financially against her to control her, to threaten her, or one day to abandon her. And when she knows this statement, Hebrews 13:5, here's what God says: I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Did you know that that's a financial statement in Hebrews 13:5? It says, don't be covetous. Be content with what such things you have, because God has said, I will never leave you or never forsake you. Now listen, this is 2 promises. Never leave you means I will never physically depart. Never forsake you means I'll never turn my heart away. You can forsake a person you're sitting right next to. You can be in a relationship or in a marriage where your heart is completely turned away. God says this concerning us, very comforting statement: I will never leave you or forsake you. I'm always here. Aren't you glad that God doesn't threaten us by saying, you know something, you're really on my nerves, and I'm telling you, I may be out of here in a few days. Like your sin meter is maxed out, and I'm so sick of you. But God makes this statement: I'll never leave you or forsake you. And you know what all of us do when we read that? That is so comforting, isn't it? As a man, I'm married to a woman and I'm the breadwinner. Karen won't take us. I've tried to pay her for years for what she does. She won't take it. But she takes care of our home. She's taking care of our kids and our grandkids. She takes care of me. And my commitment is I will never take advantage of that. I will be faithful to her financially until the day I die and provide for her, and she's my total equal in life. And that gives her a security that our relationship is able to go intimate. Let me talk about men for just a minute, because I've picked on the men. Let me not pick on the women for just a minute. Number one need that a man has is respect and honor. Men desperately need respect and honor. It's just simply the way that God made us. It's not because there's something wrong with your husband. It's just because every man is very sensitive in the area of his ego, and our work is very connected to our sense of ego, sometimes too much so. But men are very, very sensitive to these kinds of issues. And this is what your husband needs to hear from you, is, do you believe in me? Do you believe in me? Proverbs 31 says that the excellent wife, her husband is an elder in the gates of the city, but it's attributing it to her. She made him into an elder. How did she make him into an elder? She believed he was a good man before he started acting like it. And her praise and her faith and her prayers actually propelled him to be a better man. Do you believe in me? Do you believe that I'm a good man? Do you believe that I have potential? And it goes back to criticism versus praise and focusing on what's right. Are you proud of me? Are you proud of me? And let me say this. if it's all a financial answer, that's going to devastate him. In other words, if your husband chose a career, or God chose a career for him, it might be that he works for the post office, or he's a school teacher, or he's a police officer, or something like that, and you know that no one's ever going to get rich doing those things. Or he's called to ministry, or something like that, and he chose a career that would be paid less than he could have made if he did something else. And here's the issue. Regardless of how much I bring home, are you proud of me because I'm doing what God called me to do? Are you proud of me because I have good character? Would you be more proud of me if I made more money? And see, that what happens to a man is, it's devastating, is if your husband is doing what God called him to do, and let me say this, thank God for school teachers. Thank God for police officers. Thank God for firemen. Thank God for people in the military. Thank God. And there are many people at the core of our society, they'll never get the praise they deserve, and they'll never get the money they deserve. But for those of us who live with those people, and for those of us who know those people, they should get our constant praise. And for a woman, and you're married to that man, you need to let him know it doesn't matter how much money you make, honey. It matters that you're a good man. And I'm thankful for what you're doing. And when he knows that you're proud of him, that you believe in him. And let me say another thing. Are you happy? Are you happy? Sexually, did you know the number one sexual need of a man is mutual satisfaction? What a husband wants almost more than anything else is to make his wife happy. Are you happy? And again, if there's a dollar sign on that and you say, no, I'm not happy today, but if you brought home $1 million, I'd be happy. What he feels like in that situation is your happiness can be purchased, but you're not happy because you're with me. And let me say this, if you're not happy today, don't ever think more money is going to make you happy. That's right. Because if God and your family doesn't make you happy, you're never going to be happy. And so are you happy? Do you believe in me? You know, do you respect me? And when a woman looks at her husband and she speaks to him in honor terms that go outside of the scope of money. And it might be that your husband isn't doing as well as he could do, and he's not making as much money as he could make, and he needs to do better or whatever. You can be as honest as you want to be because your husband's equal, but understand this, his number one need is the need for respect. And when you tell him, I believe in you, you're a good man, and let me just tell you something, I married you because I had faith in you, and I know you're going to make it. I know you're going to get there. And when you pray and you praise him, both of those issues, we're not going to be able to have intimacy till we have trust. And on a woman's side, the trust issue is a security issue. But on a man's side, it's a respect issue. And when we're speaking our spouse's language, and when we understand their sensitivities, when a man feels honored and a woman feels secure, I'm just telling you, the gates open to our heart, and we're going to be able to relate on a very, very intimate level. We're excited to be able to offer that teaching to you on being financial partners in marriage. It's huge. I mean, your marriage is just going to be so much different when you're operating as a team in the area of finances. So I hope that was a blessing to you. Now that teaching is just a very small part. You just saw about 10 minutes of a full 40-minute teaching that I do on that subject, plus 2 other teachings on reversing the financial curse and also God's laws for financial blessing. And that is on a resource that we're offering to you today called You, Me, and Money. It's a CD resource, also a DVD resource. For your gift of $45 or more, we'll get you the 3 teachings on CD along with the book. For your gift of $80 or more, we want to send you the DVD series along with the book. These are important resources that literally can save your marriage and strengthen your marriage and even help your children and generations to come to understand this critical issue of how to handle money together in marriage. Here's how you can get these important resources.
Experience Jimmy's inspiring series, You, Me, and Money. We'll also include Jimmy's book, The Stress-Free Marriage. For your gift of $45 or more, you'll receive the CD series and book. For your gift of $80 or more, you'll receive the DVD series and book.
Regardless of where you have been, regardless of mistakes that you have made or where you are right now, you serve a mighty God, and He wants to bless you for the rest of your life.
In this series, Jimmy reveals biblical principles for financial blessing, how to break free from financial curses, and practical solutions for financial stress. A bonus session is also included.
Is it possible to live in profound financial certainty and security in the days that we're living in? Absolutely, if your trust is in God.
Support Marriage Today with your gift of any amount and receive the book, The Stress-Free Marriage. Take hold of the future God has for your family with these powerful resources.
Well, this program today is about, understanding your spouse when it comes to finances, and men and women are different. And we were talking, Karen, in that teaching about, women need security. It's the number one need that women have, and we're very different, but men need honor. And so for a man, many times, and there are men who are security oriented and related to saving and things like that. But the main thing is men want to have the significance of knowing that they're being a good provider, that what they're doing is being appreciated by their wives, but women need to know that their husband's going to be a faithful financial provider and faithful to them, and that the finances are going to be taken care of properly.
Well, we've talked about this because in this show, when they talk about how some women are raised now, some girls are raised now with the emphasis being on get an education, make sure that you can support yourself because you can't trust a man to always be there.
Right.
And I mean, that automatically puts within a woman just a thought of, oh my gosh, how scary. And so your dependency is upon your career, on your college education, instead of what you have as a man and a woman in God. Yeah. And fortunately I wasn't raised that way, but I know a lot of people today are, and there's good reason. I mean, a lot of women are being left, and there's so much divorce right now, and it does leave them in a very scary spot.
Well, as I said in the teaching, the conversation that a lot of families are having with their daughters is get an education, have your own career because you can't trust a man. Don't become dependent upon a man. And unfortunately, it's true. We know of circumstances where women have become very dependent upon their husbands, only to have their husbands leave them when they're in their 40s or 50s and they have children, and they're very, very vulnerable. And my comment in the teaching there is that families need to be having conversations with their sons saying, you be faithful to your wife, not just sexually, but financially faithful. And that means when and many women are working outside the home today, and that's great, but women still need to be domestically centered. Women are happier when they're domestically centered. And many husbands want their wives to be more domestically centered, but for that to happen, you've got to step up and just say, you can become dependent upon me and I won't take advantage of that. And what that means is, Karen, for us as an example of this, is that over the years you raised our children at home, you took care of the home, you did all those kinds of things like that. Well, the more you did of that and the older you got, you're not old, but I mean the older you got, is that the more dependent you become on me because I'm the breadwinner. Well, what that means is I have a tremendous responsibility not to take advantage of that and not to hold it over your head. And honestly, the healing that needs to come in our nation, and it's a healing, is where men are faithful and where men stop being, unfaithful, not just sexually to their wives, but to let them become dependent, and then to walk out the door and all of a sudden the wife is devastated. When divorce occurs, women are much more devastated than men financially. Men may see a little bit of difference financially, women are devastated financially. And so the need for security that women have in marriage related to money is men meet that need by saying, you can depend on me and I won't let you down. For better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, I'm in this marriage state.
And we know that there's a lot of people watching where the woman does work, and it's a mutual agreement that it's okay that she's working. It's not so much that she's working or not working. It's the fact that no matter what, we're here together. We're going to make this thing to work. And, I love the way money can play such a good thing, bad thing in a marriage, because honestly, when you come down and get the skills right of just the money language, learning each other, learning to respect, I mean, money can be such a blessing in a relationship.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be that volatile. I can remember so many times, oh my gosh, I dreaded us talking about money.
Oh, I did too.
It was like, oh my gosh, do we have to talk about this? And you would do your stonewalling and I would do, the passive aggressive stuff. And I dreaded it. And now, and I've always been able to take care of the finances because I worked at a bank. And so I knew how to do the checkbook. I knew
and that's what you do, and it's great because we agree on everything.
Yeah,
but you do
and
a great
so
job
I
of
didn't
it.
have a fear of, taking care of it or dealing with it or all that. It's just that you and I were so different. And I remember you get that, come in here, we need to talk. It's like, no, I don't want to talk, because I knew this money thing would come up, and it would just freak me out. And so, but I remember the more we started learning the skills of what it really meant, that it wasn't. We were such an attacker of each other as far as the person being who our finances was, instead of figuring out that our finances were a separate issue for who we were.
That's exactly right.
And once we began to respect, the fact that, you see it differently doesn't make you, weird, like, you used to call me weird. But once we started talking it through, I'll never forget the freedom we got when we did a vision retreat.
Right.
And we did that vision retreat, and we were talking, and I remember I dreaded that subject coming up, but we sit there, and it was so neat because you say, okay, let's pray about it. And so we both prayed about it separately. And then we came together and we said, what are we going to agree on? And I thought, okay, this might be able to work, because no longer were we trying to enforce what the other person wanted. We were finally coming to a place where we could learn to agree on what would make us both really happy.
Well, and that's the entire issue, Karen, is that it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And we both have something to give. And again, in our family, I'm the breadwinner. I work, but that's just one part of what I do. You manage our money. You do a great job managing our money, but you're also a very good money manager as it relates to spending. You're very wise and those types of things. And we have to understand, for men and women, we both have something to bring to the table. We're partners, but also we both have different needs. We see money differently, and when you marry your opposite. And when you're doing your best in marriage, it just means you're a team and you respect each other, and you're making your best decisions when you're making your decisions together. When you're at your worst financially in marriage, it means you're judging each other, you're shaming each other, you're trying to control each other, you're in a battle the way Karen and I used to. You can have financial intimacy in marriage, but you just need to understand that your spouse is different and learn to talk and learn to pray and things like that. Our passion here at Marriage Today is to help you and couples literally all over the world to achieve their dream of a happy marriage together, and not be divorced and not live alone, or not be able to be intimate in their marriage and really achieve the partnership that they want. And we do that because of our partners, because of people like you that support us. And we have thousands of people all over America who support us every month. They're our rock solid partners. They give a gift to this ministry every month, and in exchange for that, they get a resource that's called Dream Marriage Library. Every month in the mail, and now electronically, you get the first and best of all of our resources. And it's literally continuing education for your marriage. We want to bless you every month for helping us to keep this ministry going across America and around the world. We are asking you to become a financial partner with Marriage Today, and here's some information on how you can do that.
When you stand with Marriage Today, your individual effort multiplies with other like-minded partners, and together we can rebuild the dream of marriage for couples around the world.
I would recommend becoming a rock-solid partner, because you are grafting into a group of individuals that are committed to restoring marriage to this country, and that's something we want to be a part of.
In pursuit of this vital mission, Marriage Today utilizes a daily television broadcast, multiple live events, a comprehensive online outreach, and hundreds of marriage-building resources. Your partnership is literally making every facet of this ministry possible. And that means couples are receiving the help and hope they need to take their marriage to the next level of fulfillment and intimacy.
We enjoy the resources, we enjoy all of it, but I think just knowing that we're touching the lives of so many other marriages, creating an atmosphere for them to get the help they need.
Being a rock-solid partner with Marriage Today grants you immediate access to an exclusive library of the ministry's resources and intimately connects you with our mission of helping couples succeed in marriage.
We're proof that the ministry is beneficial and that it works. It has helped to save us, and that means that our children get to grow up with two parents in a home together. It makes a difference in our lives every single day that I couldn't imagine not being a partner.
Everyone has something to give. And there are millions of unreached couples who desperately need the marriage-strengthening resources of Marriage Today. That's why we need you to join us. Become a rock-solid partner with the ministry and mission of Marriage Today.
Welcome back. Karen, you have a question from one of our viewers.
I do. When a couple is in a lot of debt, what is their best approach for getting out of that situation?
Well, debt is dangerous, and I don't believe that all debt is wrong, but I believe that all debt is cautionary, especially when you're borrowing money on credit cards with incredibly high interest rates and things like that. You just need to be cautionary. And so what I would say is, if you're in debt, downsize as much as possible. In other words, if you have to move into a less expensive home, if you have to drive less expensive cars, you do everything you can to downsize and get your expenses down, and then to apply that money to the debt. And Karen, you and I had debt, credit card debt earlier in our marriage. It was awful.
It was our stress. It was what put stress on our marriage. And
it caused a lot of tension in our marriage. And what we did was we disciplined first of all, we gave to the Lord. I mean, we didn't stop giving because, I'm sure you've heard me teach, is that when you get God on your side, that's when miracles happen. And so we continued to give, but we downsized. And we disciplined ourselves to delay purchases, delay gratification on other issues until we were out of debt. And then once we were out of debt, we began to save money. You're not living within your means if you're not saving money. And the money that you save is there for emergencies, for your washer breaking down, for your car breaking down, and things like that, which you need to be paying cash for. And it's also there for fund money that you can do things. And then you're going on vacations, and then you're doing special things, and you're not going into debt doing it. So that's a big deal.
It is, and I'm so thankful that we're not in that anymore, because that was one of the things you would like to spend, and it's like, no, I need to save, I need to get out of debt first, and da-da-da. And it was like so frustrating, because all I could see was debt, and all you could see was, let's just have a good time.
Well, you were a good influence. I mean, you really were. And at that point, I grew up not poor, but on the next door to poor. And when we started getting money, to me, it was so thrilling to finally have money to do something with. But I wasn't wise, but as a team, we worked well together. Now, unfortunately, we're out of time, but we hope that this program today on money has been a help to you and a blessing to you. We're going to come back next time with more marriage-saving help for you, and we hope that you'll come back for more of Marriage Today. God bless you. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Marriage Today with Jimmy and Karen. Support Marriage Today with your best gift and receive the series You, Me, and Money. Don't miss the first ever XO Marriage Conference. Host this global simulcast at your church or find a host site by visiting marriagetoday.com/simulcasts. Become a rock-solid partner today and connect with the mission of Marriage Today. Together, we can help couples succeed in marriage.
This program is made possible by the generous support of our faithful partners.